thank you so much for being here with me today. It's a privilege to be interviewing you today. May I ask you a few questions about your article and your research process today?
Thank you so much for inviting me for the interview. I'm very happy to be able to share my article's outputs and some future perspectives as well.
All right, so to begin, could you briefly talk about what your article is about and what readers can expect to learn from it?
So my article is actually has some roots from 2021 when the European Union proposed the first draft of the Artificial Intelligence Act. It was interesting for me to see the exemptions within the AI Act. However, even before that, I had the privilege to participate in the project called Did You Clean Just, which is led by Professor Krishna Karshai. And by her lead, I had the chance to delve into a little bit of the artificial intelligence technologies, not only personal data protection point of view, but how it is being used in the criminal justice as well. And I realized that facial recognition technologies are one of those kinds that are being used by the law enforcement authorities and also in a broader sense as well nowadays. The first applications that we can find actually of these FRTs are in China, in the US, but slowly but surely they are also arriving to Europe. In London, in the UK, in other cities, they have been practicing facial recognition technologies and algorithmically assessing people's behaviors, their criminality, and having some possible foresight effects. And it was interesting for me to see that whether these are working with personal data, and of course yes, and what kind of implications these technologies would have in the application. So my article in a very broad sense is focusing on these questions. When I was writing it for the first time in 2021, it was only considering the personal data applications and processing point of view. But now I also analyze the topic from the AI Act perspective. So what I actually was doing to find out a framework to compare both of the legislation, which is the General Data Protection Regulation and the AI Act, from 4 risk categories that are data minimization, purpose limitation, data and system accuracy, and finally some administrative challenges. So once a reader joins in my talks via this article, they will find out how am I analyzing these risks from the 2 legislation point of view. And also I considered the fact that all these risks and the applications are connected to each other from the practical, legal, and also some technical point of views.
So what inspired you to focus on facial recognition technologies specifically and their application in law enforcement?
Basically, I realized that all technologies bring their own risks, though there are some general risks that we can consider, especially for public interest point of view, and since the applications are used by law enforcement with the purpose of public security, whether it really fits into this idea or not, this was the main focus and main starting point of mine, that I really wanted to see whether it really works to risk the basic rights, basic human rights, fundamental rights into such level. The risks that I try to highlight in the beginning is actually also connected to some of the fundamental rights. For example, right to stay anonymous in the public sphere. So just imagine that we construct a CCTV, a camera here in this square, and we are actually collecting people's video footages 24 hours. Of course, it doesn't mean that there would be a constant personal data processing, but if the law enforcement authority feels so there is a necessity, they can go back and watch the videos and try to find out how to make use of these technologies. For the facial recognition technologies, there are some different applications, but let me just give you an example from predictive policing. There are some applications in the world, and I'm aware that there are some applications in Europe as well, luckily not in Hungary yet, assessing people's criminality or future criminality from their facial expressions, together with unifying some other personal data. And in the end, we have an output like 60% of accuracy level, this person can be criminal or not. It would be very useful, of course, for the law enforcement authorities to have such a quick result. However, first of all, 60% of accuracy level and 90% of accuracy level have totally different mathematical and statistical meaning. One of the questions that I was trying to highlight in my article is that who decides about these accuracy levels and based on what criteria? One of the most useful outputs of this article from my perspective is that yes, the law enforcement authorities are trying to integrate these technologies into our everyday life, but whether it is really useful for us or not, and how much transparently these technologies are being used, whether the law enforcement authorities are communicating the possible risks and the advantages of these technologies with the public in an efficient way. So these kind of questions in my mind was really driving me to write this article.
And could you share your experience with the publication process? Were there any especially insightful or challenging parts in submitting the manuscript, or even during the peer review?
My experience with this publication was very smooth and very positive overall. Last year, when I saw this call for a special issue, because this publication is working based on special issue call for papers, and I wasn't at 100% working force that time because I was with the little kid at home, but working also on this great topic at the same time because I love it. And when I saw the special issue call, I said that this is for me because I was already working on the article, how to make it more comprehensive, how to improve it in a more scientific way. So, and integrate it with some other topics. So it was the first step for me. When I saw the call, I just wrote an email to the publishers that this is the idea of mine, and they were very welcoming because that time also the question was very much debated, as this is one of the exemptions in the EU AI Act, and it was one of the biggest challenges among the trilogue procedure as well, that some of the countries were completely against banning the facial recognition technologies in an entire term. Actually, Germany, Italy, and France, they were the first three countries that are not really willing to vote positively for the Act to pass from this perspective. So the topic was new. Since this technology brings its own risk, it was also very interesting, and the special issue that I published on my article was focusing on also the public interest question. So somehow I found the connection between what the editors asked for and what my interest is and what reality was. So I just put them together like a puzzle, and I got very quick acceptance from this point of view because the topic really caught them. But of course it wasn't that much easy to come to the final point. The whole procedure was quite smooth. I had a great communication channel with the editors, and as well as when I received, for example, the feedback from the referees, all the feedback I received was quite constructive and very, very positive. So it actually encouraged me to do better and more. And altogether, actually, we brought the article to a level that it is right now.
What advice would you give to students or early career researchers on writing and publishing in such impactful journals?
I was actually thinking of giving an answer in Hungarian to this question, nem szabad feladni. You shouldn't really give up. I remember back in some years ago when I drafted my first article, and I was very self-confident. It's a great article. I got so many criticisms that I just said that no, I can't do that. This was my first experience, but of course it's very important the way how the referees are giving you the feedback, but we shouldn't be discouraged by doing just better and more. And with this article, I really felt to the point that now I can be self-confident anymore. So it's not that easy to reach to level of success in this sense, but a lot of trying, a lot of reading from cult documents, resources like Internet Policy Review is one of them, I think. And I already knew this publication when I just started my PhD researches, because they have been publishing so good quality papers that whenever I start, for example, searching for something, this is one of the first resources that I refer to. So actually it was always in my mind somehow, but this was the time that I could make it. So always planning, always thinking forward, and never to give up, I think.
And based on your experience with this article, are there any new research areas or questions you are interested in exploring in the future?
This article was just referring to one of the technologies that are available today. More and more technologies are waiting to be analyzed from the human rights point of view. First of all, I'd like to discover the other technologies' impact to people's lives, because at the end of the day, these technologies are impacting our individual life in some way or another. So they really have some effect on us, and I'm not really sure whether the lawmakers and the people are in good communication levels. So I think there is something missing, and we as the researchers, scientists, we should have this duty to fulfill that gap between the law and how it is being interpreted and how it is impacting people's life. So I think my future research will be focusing on how to encourage individuals to learn more about these technologies, their risks, their advantages, and also how the law is helping or how the law is not helping us to understand these technologies and our basic rights.
Thank you very much. You're welcome.